It's exactly what I keep talking about. What are the chances that every single time I ever happen to get into, like anytime any of them, you know, grow some balls out there, their big old nasty vaginas. Anytime any of them gets any sort of courage, I guess, and decides to actually engage in any conversation that has to do with Israel, with them as a whole, anything. This is what they do. And that's, though that screenshot is just, it's just a piece. This guy has literally said the same thing to me over and over again. And I've done a good job of saying, you Matitza Bape, pedo, cult members, and bottom of darkness. Like I've the secure community network, ACT-IL, like I've name dropped like a motherfucker. And his only response is, "You're crazy. You need meds." And that's it. It's impossible. It's impossible that they all just happen to say that. Because I showed you guys before. I couldn't find it, but I showed you guys a screenshot before of the exact same thing. But the first time it was on Facebook. And they still do it here, but they don't do it as much. Like there's a couple but it's not as free, because all it does is make me look right. This is absolutely, you can totally understand. It's not like it's far-fetched. And sometimes it doesn't. Does that just make sense, right? Makes sense. Sometimes there's no signal. And why wouldn't there be? I think I'm really, really onto something here. And I'm surprised no one else has either figured it out, or, and if they have, it's surprising that no one's talking about it. I can't be the only one that's figured this out, that's put two and two together like that. This is it's obvious. And when you break it down, it makes sense. Like it actually does make sense. When you're talking about a disgusting cult of pedophiles and genocidal pieces of shit, they can't, you can't make crazy sound good. You can't make crazy sound intelligent. There is no intelligent argument that can come my way about why Matitza Bape is okay. It's impossible. There is no reasonable argument in that regard. There is no understandable. There is no make sense in that regard. That just works. It totally makes sense that you would do that in society, modern society, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't fit. And that's why you'll never, ever, 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 ever see any of them actually engage in an argument. You're wrong about this because of that. We are right because of this. We are supreme because of that. You'll never see anything like that, literally because they can't. And their whole shocking to me. It's shocking to me how obvious this is, and how I guess I'm the only one that's connected those dots. I haven't seen anyone else talk even close to it. And I follow a lot of people that actually do talk about Israel. And actually do, I mean, when I say they talk about Israel, or they the Jays, they mention it. I mean, like Hayom Blakely, right? Hayom Blakely is, in my opinion, one of the better commentators on the Israeli stuff. And yet at the same time, she's very, she does a very safe, I don't know, she does it in a very safe way, where she doesn't, I don't know, like it's strange. And I've noticed this, like this is another one of those things I've noticed where, like Ian Carroll does it all the time. You can't just say it's the Jays. You can't say it's all Jays, it's all Friars. Yeah, you can. Their fucking belief structure, their cult, is pedophilic and genocidal. It's supremacy, long before I knew any of it, right? Before I knew about the Havara Agreement, and I knew about Hasbara, and I knew about Team Jorge and Act IL and all of these things. The whole concept of you being God's chosen people was supremacy. I had an issue with that logic, that presentation, whatever. You're God's chosen people. That's the most supremacist thing that any religion says. Because more so, if you're not the chosen, then what are you? And according to your fucking stupid Bible, if you're not the chosen, you're a slave. You're a slave. That's it. You're just one of the slaves. You're either chosen or you're a slave. A slave to the chosen. And it's, I've constantly said the same things. Like, I don't understand your average Christian's ignorance when it comes to that part. Like, clearly you don't read what your fucking stupid Bible says. Because your Bible flat out tells you, lays it all out for you. Like, it's no secret. And yet you see it everywhere. You see the stupidity just everywhere. Your average Christian is just stupid. I mean, the fact is, we mutilate and our male children. We don't even wait 8 days like they do. At birth, within hours of being born, we put our male children through unthinkable trauma because of them. Because of their bullshit. Because Abraham made a covenant with God, and God said he wouldn't destroy the earth, because God doesn't give a shit about how you treat each other, how you treat the planet. If you're a good person or whatever, doesn't care if you rape kids, doesn't care about any of that shit. The only thing preventing God from destroying the earth again is circumcision. If you can't understand how fucked up that is, I just don't know what to tell you. You're fucking stupid, and you're stupid willingly. Because this isn't like rocket surgery, This isn't fucking trying to figure something out that is impossible. This is common sense. It's common sense. You do not need fucking mutilate children. You're whatever God that you belong to, if its requirement is that you mutilate children so that it doesn't destroy the world again, why would you believe in that fucking piece of shit? Why would you ever want to believe in such a disgusting cult? And you know I'm right, because you'll never see anyone challenge me. You'll never see anyone come in here and actually make decent arguments challenging me, or valid, or explaining, justifying, validating any of this shit. You'll never, ever, ever see someone come in here and try to explain why Matitza Bupe is okay. They know they can't. That's simple. They know that they're disgusting pieces of shit. I can't do this. He made the phone black and white. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Oh, Jesus. Cut above. Where's the cut above? Cut above. There we go.
But Guy, how come you guys never make a hip-hop song? Here you go. Now share it. I'm having a hard time starting this one. Again, the subject is just too atrocious. I still have to use rhymes and make sure it's fun, all while maintaining my focus. But looking through the scope, this goes back to the beginning. Before things were so hopeless and the planet started spinning, they say our lights need dimming, so they cut our lines at birth. To me, it's like the house is skimming, and I just don't see the worth. Now imagine you're a freshly squirt, alone in a cold nursery. No frankincense or expensive myrrh, just a head chock full of cursory knowledge of adversity and what your future has in store. We're nowhere near the person we become when we have more options to explore. So for now, we trust our parents. And if a decision is thought poor, well, it's their fault that the dare went. Triple doggone parrot repeating bad decisions. It's like they don't know there's a variant to Dad's crazy-ass religion. But it comes from lack of vision, both foresight and kind, as to why the Goyim circumcision is still not seen as Klein. My baloney has a first name. It's what the hell is going on? My baloney has a second name. It's please don't cut the goddamn lawn. Mutilating
Mowing the lawn, that's what they say.
Why things are done so violently. So again, you've just arrived and your brain's making connections. You still have your mother in your eyes, even if you were C-section. And one of American male's first lessons might just help to explain why there's so much blind aggression poisoning the collective vein. See, trauma wrecks the brain, and there's probably not much worse than the message in the pain most newborns feel for some nurse. But the chosen know the hurt and the damage this shit does, which is why they brilliantly break the curse with a party pushing love. The whole family's there with hugs, but that only hides the truth. Since the moil's mouth that sucks the blood, it's pedophilic at its root. And yet the mutilation proves how dumb the Goyim are. It's a custom for the Jews, and our worlds are worlds apart. The PTSD from the start is lessened by the bris. But when you see their hidden cards, how do Goyim still submit? We're like the fingers in a fist. We fight our best united. And if ignorance is bliss, well, it's time to start a fucking riot. My baloney has a first name. It's O-M-F-N-G. My baloney has a second name. It's F-U-N-J-C. Mutilating kids might be what things are done so violently. Now, if your kids are in the room, you may want to have them leave, since the violence you allow consumed is only okay on TV. But with sexuality, you keep them in the closet. You teach them women are the beast and fairy tales are prophets. And for those of us with small sticks, do you know we're born with health? That is, until we are accosted. The feeling that is felt by notches in our belt would be good enough to steal. Since the opinion that it held is that ruffled ridges make the meal. And pulling back the shield, the scarf that is created, will bring a stronger yield when her flowers celebrated. See, the ramrod men are made with is meant to down walls. Female countries meant to
fucking
be
geese.
You just have to have the balls.
God damn it.
And of course you'll drop more jaws if you had more on your table. But where are all the laws to protect us from the fable? They wrote to enable mutilation by their pedophiles. We don't choose the label, but our fight's more like Gentile.
Wow. Fucking asshole geese.
My baloney has a first name. It's O-M-F-N-G.
Ron White does a good job of that.
My baloney has a second name. It's F-U-N-J-C. Mutilating kids might be why things are done so violently.
Man, that shit's good. What was that response a reply to? Calling him out. I don't know. The dumbass to tell me that I was crazy, and so I was like, dude, blah blah blah. That's all you guys have. You're taught that with IL, with the secure community network. You guys have to understand what we're dealing with here because of their blind unity. You know, they're way more united than we are. They're way more organized, and you know, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy. But you guys, this is what I'm saying. Like, if you go into it knowing, like, if you go into a boxing match, right, and you know that the only thing that guy can do is throw a right hook. That's the only punch he has. Left hand doesn't work. Right hand is the only punch you need to look out for. You're going to win the fight, right? You know, you don't have to worry about anything else but no uppercuts, no jabs, no, you know, no crosses, none of it. Only right hooks. I don't care how good they are. You know, a trained opposition would destroy them. You know, no fighter is going to lose to somebody that can only throw right hooks. And so that's what the Israelis are. That's what the friars are. They're the guy with the right hook. And when we know what they're throwing, we can defeat them. And I mean, again, how many different examples can I show you? These people aren't connected. This guy isn't connected to my troll feed or my Facebook page. Like, I showed you them doing this on Facebook as well. That's the only thing they seem to know how to do. It seems, again, when you read the act.il, let me read it to you. Fuck it. Act.il, ACT.il, was a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online anti-Israel content such as the Boycott, Divestments, and Sanctions BDS movement. Okay? Its activities were referred to as an online propaganda campaign, quote, and a virtual situation room for pro-Israel experts. Okay. Act.il directed its users to missions to comment on and share pro-Israeli material on social media. It also asked users to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Israel. Oh shit. criticism. Users were guided on how to respond, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points or sharing or upvoting an allied comment. Hang on a second. The app also provided users with ready-made memes promoting Israel's perspective for them to share. By completing missions, users earned points, unlocked badges, and had their scores displayed on leaderboards. Do you guys get it? I mean, this is so real right here. They were guided on how to respond, which might entail using the provided talking points. That's why they all say the same dumb shit. I'm sure you have been in a submarine. I'm sure you have. I'm sure of it. Joined 12 years ago with no subscribers. How many fucking profiles, fake fucking profiles, that have 12, been it was an accident. But this is as real as it gets. And again, it's something that unless you've actually had the balls to call out these Israeli pieces of shit, you probably haven't experienced it. These Israeli Jewish pieces of shit. This is something that you experience. I mean, seriously, can anybody say that they've called out Israel? They've tried to talk about these piece of shit friars, and they've had one of them engage in some sort of intelligent fashion. Please, somebody tell me about that time you talked to the friars and they were, decent. They weren't just pieces of shit. Crybaby, You can't say that. You're crazy. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear an example of it. I can tell you firsthand, this is what they do. You're crazy. You need meds. To them, mental issues are funny. And that's all they had. Listen, Dave Chappelle told you as clearly as possible. The worst thing to do is call someone crazy because it's dismissive. As soon as you say something is crazy, someone is crazy, you go, well, they're crazy. I'm not listening to what they have to say. That guy on the street that's rambling, and the times you tell yourself, he's crazy. He's crazy. I'm not going to talk to him. He's crazy. I'm not listening to what he has to say. He's crazy. They know this. That's what they're hoping. They're hoping that they can make you crazy. You're crazy. Anybody else that reads the comments would say, oh, you're crazy. You need meds. Literally, Bats in the Belfry was on the cartoons this morning. Old cartoon, Bats in the Belfry. Bats in the Belfry, hiccup, hiccup. Remember that cartoon? It's just one of many where the group has a retarded friend. And the retarded one is abused, is made fun of, is hit all the time. And think about it, the Three Bears cartoons that they would put out. Anytime they would put out a cartoon and they would, they would make one of the characters special. That special character wasn't treated better, wasn't looked out for. They were the butt of the joke. Then they got hit all the fucking time. They always are violent towards the retarded one. Who's religious? You ain't doing it because you're psychotic. Yep, there we go. See what I mean? Like, too stupid, right? Too stupid to even be able to read the room, right? You come in here and provide an example of exactly what I'm saying. When I say people are too dumb to actually, especially friars, are too dumb to actually argue against anything I have to say, they're like, no, see, he's right. Look, here, let us give you an example of it. I gotta go pay. Hang on a second, let me just go pay.
The fact that they must share the land with all of the hands in their cookie jar, but the mixing of brands is something that starts to point to the heart of our racist beliefs. I think a big part is a myth that the meat of a black guy is so sweet, once you've had one bite, then nothing competes. And you'll be all like, fuck all that white, average dick nonsense. They don't do it right, and I want a black bomb since every single conference pushes that myth. But just ask my mom, it's all about width, length, and the tip, and how can you blame her? If I was a kid, I'd be a proclaimer walking.
And literally, like, you'll never see anyone do anything other than prove the fucking point. Consistently proving the point. Israel is absolutely the bad guy. And there's nothing they can say. Like this guy, how come this guy didn't come in and say, you're wrong because of this? You're wrong because of that. How come they don't do, how come it's that I'm just crazy? I'm just people that watches me every fucking day for over a year, for hours on end, begging for my attention because I'm crazy and I'm wrong. And refuses to actually tell me what I'm wrong about.
Yet the fires ignited have a double meaning, like how Feinsteins get excited with the
My white friend says nigga all the time, nigga all the time, nigga all the time, but my black friend says nigga all the time, nigga all the time, nigga all the time. You are wrong. Yep. Right. Keep providing the example. You can't even spell Christian right. Thinking we are Christian because of certain ethnicity? What are you stupid? What are you stupid? Yes. Just so anybody's wondering, the Ellie profile that's here pretends to be from the Philippines. For the first couple videos, pretended to not speak English very well. And then suddenly learned English. But it's been shown multiple times she's slipped up and acknowledged that she's an Israeli. She's just an Israeli doing what ACT IL has told them to do. And let's say, I can provide you receipts. Not receipts about different things that I've said or done. But literally the information that they want you to have, their narrative proves the point, right? Their narrative is what's wrong. We are Christian because we believe in God. No, dumbass. You're Christian because you believe in Christ. You fucking moron. See what I mean? They don't even know their own shit. They don't even know their own shit, so they just say stupid things. We are Christian because we believe in God. Yeah. Lots of people believe in God that wouldn't consider themselves Christian. Like your namesake, the fucking piece of shit friars. They believe in God. The friars believe in God. Ooh, I wonder what English-Irish breakfast would taste like. A combination of both. I haven't done that in a long time. That's what I'm going to do. Jesus and the Father, blah, blah, blah. So stupid. Like, again, there's no point. One, Ellie's a female. She's a dumb girl who is trying to talk about God and religion, who apparently doesn't know her Bible very well, because 1 Timothy 2:12 specifically forbids her from doing what she's doing.
You can't fight running, and that's where they're coming before one. That way you
But again, you know, look, there's not going to be anything other than just crybaby, pull cord shit. Rah, Jesus is king. Rah, Jesus is Lord. Rah. It's all they have. There's no like reasonable, intelligent argument to the point. You can't say, oh yeah, well look at this. Well, what about this? Well, here's some evidence here. What about that? Like I can say against you. You haven't seen my Lord. You're right. No one has, because it's not real. I mean, I just, we talk about act.io, talk about Team Jorge. For people, what will you lose? Yes, if you give some time, like, why would I need to, like, what's the benefit? What is the benefit to believing, to overriding common sense and putting all of your compassion away and being like, I don't care about anybody else as long as I get to go to heaven when I die? What's the benefit to Christianity? Nothing. Why not give it a try? Well, I don't have to rape kids. I don't like raping kids. Yeah, I don't have to shoot crack in my veins to know I don't want to shoot crack in my veins. You dumb fuck. Why not just give it a try? Because it's awful. Because it's a pedophile organization. Because it's about keeping you dumb goyim stupid slaves. Why would I give that a try? And really, how am I not? At any point, anybody or even Jesus could provide some proof. And once you provide proof, then I have to be like, oh, well, that's proof. I can't deny the proof. But you can't do that. I will put my life on the line. My Lord never allowed rape. Yeah, no, it does all the time. All the time. Christians are constantly raping people. Jews are constantly raping people. I'm related to, by marriage, of course, an ex-nun who was violated by by the priest of the parish she belonged to. Big lawsuit and all that shit. My Lord is holy. That's why I know. See what I mean? As soon as there's any sort of contradiction or challenge to what's being said, they just start saying dumb shit. My Lord is holy. Duh. Must be nice. That same God that's literally watching Israel drop bombs on children who Israel has been starving for 2 years and has already dropped bombs on their houses and schools and everything that they know. Only thing they have left is the small little tent that they live in, and Israel's dropping bombs on that. I don't hear all of you guys talking about the ceasefire that never fucking happened. That was just, what did they kill? Like 21 people yesterday with a bomb? I mean, it's just... if I was a Christian, or especially a Jew, and I saw what representation was in the comment section and saw how bad they look and how stupid they look, I would be so embarrassed. I mean, I guess if you're not already embarrassed by Christianity, then I don't, you're probably not going to be embarrassed by somebody being stupid. Yeah, shut the fuck up. You're so stupid. It's just so stupid. I love how this dumb broad keeps saying, give it a try, like it's a ride or something. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not getting, okay, I'll try it. Oh, wow. It's all so stupid. Did you give Islam a try? Did you give Scientology a try? Did you give Mormonism a try? Did you give the African religion you've never heard of a try? You claim to be Filipino. I'm sure there are all sorts of Filipino ancient bullshit. Did you try those too? Just give it a try. What a dumb piece of shit. What a dumb piece of shit.
Complete with them to bust their balls, yet everyone agrees it should stay against the law for anyone to call the chosen a bad choice. But that's racism, y'all, man. Fuck all that noise.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus will not fail. Look at how stupid you are, man. Like, it's such a weird thing. Like, Christians end up coming across as complete psychos. They're psychos. They're stupid fucking psychopaths. And just, like, look at that. Can you imagine being in a conversation? Like, let's say you were talking to somebody about, like, what did you want to eat tonight? What do you want to have for dinner tonight? And they were like, pizza is good. And you're like, oh, you want pizza? Spaghetti. Oh, okay, did you want spaghetti? Steak. Okay, so you want steak? Ketchup. I like ketchup. Yeah, you're naming all foods, but, like, what do you want? Like, why do you want to eat whatever? Soap. Shampoo. Shampoo. Car wash. And you're going, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm asking you what you want for dinner. Why can't you engage in a simple question and back and forth? What's wrong with you? Toothpaste. Toothpaste. Like, what the fuck are you, what's wrong with you? Why can't you engage in a reasonable conversation? Not all of us are psycho. Some of us have been misled. Christians are psychos. You're a psychopath. You believe in insanity. And you know how you know it's crazy? You know how you know it's insane? Because Islam is basically the same thing, and you think that's crazy. There are hundreds, thousands of other examples of very similar stories, virgin birth and immaculate, resurrections and magic powers and all that shit. You think all of those are crazy? It's just stupid, right? So good. Help me find a job. Yeah, let me just help you find your job in the Philippines. Remember, you're supposed to be from the Philippines. It's like you can't even keep your own bullshit straight. Oh, look, that dumbass just responded again. Go ahead, if you know that dumbass, if you have an Instagram page or whatever, and you can find that dumbass that's in my, in the picture, you can see what it says. The thumbnail. Find that piece of shit. Tell him to come here and explain why he's a pedophile. He's a pedophile. They are all pedophiles. Right? Oh, James wants to watch me take a shower, apparently. He said, what did he say? He said, your mama again tonight. Oh, fuck your mama again tonight. That's the best that Zeke Kahan. His name is Zeke, Zeek Kahan. If anybody knows Zeke Kahan, please tell him we're talking about him. We're talking about what a piece of shit pedophile he is. Look, James Edwards said the same thing. No, just take your medications. Another piece of shit friar is saying the same things, you guys. We have cracked their code. I have cracked their code. You don't see anybody else bringing this shit up. You see a lot of people bitching about what they do, but nobody providing the solutions. Nobody breaking it down like this. And this thing, this your crazy thing, this is literally all they have. So okay, so auto-emancipation, right? Auto-emancipation is a pamphlet written in German by a Russian-Polish friar doctor and activist Leon Pinsker in 1882. Whenever people talk about the Balfour Declaration, the Balfour Declaration, the Balfour Declaration. You hear people talk about it all the time. The Balfour Declaration was 1916. This is 1882. This is long before the silly Balfour Declaration. Hang on a second. You got it. What in the teaching of Jesus is wrong? Being subservient to a fucking fairy tale? Looking at the Jews as the chosen people? Yeah, there's lots of it.
Actually understand.
But that's a stupid cop-out, Of course they make the guy say the good things. It wouldn't work if they didn't. It's not about that. But that's the stupidity, right? What about the teaching that's wrong? You don't even know Jesus' teaching. You don't even know the Bible. You claim to be a Christian, but you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You're stupid. We all know that. You've proven that time and time again.
get my old friend buried. His house came from the day when the lending practices were scary. The system trapped him in a very predatory loan, then kicked him out when he could barely make all of his bones. 3 dogs he loved and owned were then killed out of
You know, the whole thing is just, it's really, really stupid. Like, the Bible is stupid. It's not a good story. It's not like it makes any sense or anything like that. Look at her. Trying to find it. Where are they? Where are those? Step off me.
You have to leave here at 10:45.
For what?
To go see his costume queen.
No, sir. He's not even in a costume. The fuck do I care? My kid's not in a costume. You know, this whole thing is just, you better not covet thy neighbor's goods. Don't go to your neighbors and be like, oh, wow, that's a nice TV. I was thinking about getting a new TV, and I like the TV you have. Does it work well? Yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to get a TV just like yours. Don't do that. Tell me which teachings. The whole thing is stupid. That's the part you don't understand. The whole thing is stupid. Just because there's some good, thou shalt not kill. Well, you agree with that? Does everybody agree with thou shalt not kill? Because I don't. I absolutely do not. I believe pedophiles should be killed immediately. Immediately. Right? I believe rapists should be killed immediately. Oh, woo! That one got stuck. Shake like a salt liquor. I prefer to grind it like a peppermint. But what you'll notice too, when I start doing this, when I start proving it to you beyond just my perspective, the comment section will immediately start really ramping up, trying to distract. But 1882, it is considered a founding document of modern Jewish nationalism, especially Zionism. Pinkston discussed the origins of anti-Semitism and argued for friar self-rule. Nobody else should have self-rule. They should have self-rule, which isn't even something that's real, because if you say, okay, you have self-rule, that means we all have to follow that rule. We all have to, it's not like you go, yeah, just leave us alone. We're just doing our own thing. You go, we want to do our own thing, and all of you have to accept everything of it. It's fucking wild, man. He wrote that friars would never become equals of non-friars until they had a state of their own. Gosh. He called on friar leaders to convene and address the problem. In the pamphlet, he describes anti-Jewish attacks as psychosis, a pathological disorder, and irrational phobia, and an irrational phobia. This is literally, they have been saying the same crybaby shit for over a century. For over a century, they've been hiding behind the, you're crazy. If you don't think that we get our own shit and that we are supreme, it's psychosis, a pathological disorder, and irrational phobia. Because nobody ever asks, why do people seem to hate them so much? They always cry about how everyone hates them, but then they never want to address why everyone hates them. You know, everyone hates them because of what they do, because of who they are. But they don't want to ever address that. And you have to imagine, like, think about what you think 1882 looked like. And think about, you know, the printing of the pamphlet, the distribution, just all of it. It's just crazy. They destroy economies. Yes, they do. Well, I mean, they do and they don't. Like, it's strange. I'm really, like, you wouldn't look at the American economy and think of it as a destroyed economy. But I watched this video yesterday. It was made in the 80s, and this is what a woman would look like if she went going to the store, and it showed what $50 would buy you back in the 60s and prior to. And her entire cart was full, and it was full of meat and vegetables and all this shit for $50. And then they showed in the 70s how the cart was still full, it just didn't have as much. And then by the 80s, again, it was like a smaller cart and it was less full. And they were like, and if this trend continues by the 90s, you'll be able to afford 2 loaves of bread, a thing of lettuce, and something for that $50. Like, our economy has actually been completely destroyed. They were like, you could, in the 50s, you could buy a brand new big 2-story house for $17,000. You could buy a top of the line Ford Thunderbird for $3,000. You know, you could have a nice house, a car. You could send your kids to college. You could do all these things, and you'd work at the grocery store. And nowadays, not only is the money not the same, the grocery store job isn't even there anymore. They're doing everything they can to eliminate the lower class jobs. What's going to happen with that? You know, this whole food stamps bullshit. Like, it's like they're daring us to do it. How can we be broke? How can we not afford to pay our government, but we can give Israel billions of dollars every year? Bo, don't get wrapped up in. Ellie is an Israeli troll. She's been outed and proven multiple times. Don't waste your time on that one. Like, it's fucking crazy, man. It's just crazy. This shit should not be working the way it is. But nobody ever wants to talk about why. People love bitching about the economy. People love bitching about the government. But because you've been programmed and it continues to be programmed, that as soon as you start actually cracking the shell and you start pulling that nut out, you self-police. Either you self-police or your environment polices you. And hey, you can't say that. You can't talk about them. You talk about whatever you want. Just don't talk about them, okay? Like it's
Forgive me if I sound like a child, but my parents.
it's insane what they do. It's insane how obvious this is. Anyway, let's go back to auto emancipation. Pincer had originally been an assimilationist, meaning originally he thought the Jews should just get along with everybody and assimilate into society and not make a big deal out of things. I'm not saying I believe this. Don't get things twisted, right? I don't necessarily believe this is true, but this is the truth that they want us to know. Because Israel opened Wikipedia. They've acknowledged it. The link to the acknowledgement is actually in the description of this video. Most of the things that I'm looking up or talking about are in the video. You can find a link to it. I do all the work for you. You just have to sit back and decide on, like, think about it. How many times have you seen somebody explain Christianity or why the Jews are the good guys or why the economy or any of that is in depth as I'm explaining why it's bad? Most of the time when somebody is trying to stand up for the system, they just say blah, blah. They don't know what they're talking about. They're regurgitating some bullshit they saw on the news. And remember when I said the comment section is going to ramp up as soon as I start actually cracking the nut. Look at this shit that's being said. Does any of it actually make sense? Does any of it make sense? Okay, so this guy's talking about this stuff, inviting the debate, and yet these people are saying this shit. Why would that happen? Especially considering all the people talking the most shit are here every day for hours on end, for months, if not years at a time. Make it make sense. It makes sense to me when you apply it to Israel. When you know Israeli tactics, you know Israeli operations, you know how the Israelis do things, well, this shit makes total sense. But outside of the conspiracy, it doesn't make any sense. Real assimilation is calling for greater respect of human rights for friars in Russia. Sure. The Russian, Polish guy who was a lawyer, but because Jews weren't allowed to practice law, after he had become a lawyer, he became a doctor instead.
Changing my likeness since I ride the same bike.
It's like they say these they make these insane claims with shame, with no sense of humility. Oh yeah, he was a lawyer doctor. Gotcha. By the time he was 23, gotcha. While also living in the most persecuting times in the world. And like, it all contradicts itself and it's just stupid. And it's like they dare you, they beg you to call it out so then they can call you names. So they can, oh, well, that's anti-Semitism. And you, because you've been programmed to think anti-Semitism is like calling somebody a racist, you go, no. Hey, wait a minute, buddy. Don't, no. I'm not saying that. Instead of saying, fuck yeah, I am. Very proud of my anti-Semitism. Because I know what Semitism means. And Semitism means policy or predisposition favorable to Jews. And I don't believe any one group of people should get policy and predisposition, which is, predisposition is like, if your family all has cancer, then you're predisposed to having cancer. You have a predisposition to cancer. So it's like genetic programming. So Semitism is the demand for policy, which is the laws, rules, and regulation, and the predisposition, the genetic programming, to not see them as equal, to be favorable to them. It's fucking insane. It's insane. Right. And then there's this. However, following massive anti-friar riots in Tsarist Russia in 1881, and a visit to Western Europe in the first half of 1882, his views changed. A greater respect of human life, of human rights for Jews in Russia. And his views changed about that? What changed? That year, he published the essay anonymously in German. Right? It's just them assigning characters. It's bullshit. He posted anonymously. Boy, that's convenient for the narrative. And then it was somehow put back on him. I guarantee you won't be able to find the narrative as to where this information even came from, because it's all just bullshit. Pinsker's new perspective also led to his involvement in the development of the Jewish nationalist group Horvivi Zion, which he chaired. So if his original ideas were calling for a greater respect of human rights for Jews in Russia, and those views changed, what do you think they changed to? Because it's not, that blacks, everybody can call for, human rights and hey, it'd be great if our people were treated better. That's a reasonable thing to say. So what did it change to from being reasonable? If it was reasonable at first, that means he became unreasonable and went from calling for greater human rights for his people to total domination and supremacy by his people. Because that's what Zionism is. The essay itself inspired the group and Jews throughout Europe and was a landmark in the development of Zionism and the Jewish state. The pamphlet was published in September 1882. In 1885, Nathan Brinbaum adopted for his periodical the title Selbst Emancipation, derived from Pinsker's title. Remember, this is in 1882, this guy anonymously, this Russian Polish guy anonymously posted a pamphlet in German in 1882 that he had, printed up at the tremendous printing facilities they had there, and then distributed to all of the Jews throughout Europe and further. How? What was the distribution network like back then? So you want to read the quotes, huh? Quote, "Indeed, what a pitiful figure we cut. We are not counted among the nations, neither have we a voice in their councils, even when their affairs concern us. Our fatherland," why do they call fatherland? That's weird. "The other man's country, our unity. Desperation, our solidarity. The battle against us, our weapon. Humility, our defense. Flight, our individuality. Adaptability, our future. The next day." Sorry. Our defense, flight. Our individuality, adaptability. Our future, the next day. What a miserable role for a nation which descends from the Maccabees. The Maccabees, associating Hanukkah, because Hanukkah is the Maccabee celebration. In Hanukkah and the Maccabees are all about circumcision. Look it up. Look it up. Supremacy and pedophilia are the backbones of Judaism. It's just what it is. That's what they say, not me. Quote, "The great ideas of the 18th and 19th centuries have not passed by our people without leaving a mark. We feel not only as friars, we feel as men. As men, we, too, wish to live like other men and be a nation like the others." What other group has nations like that? What are we talking about? What other group has an Israel? You can't say that Russians are, because Russians are a plethora of different groups. It's a country. It's not this supremacist Russian people. Even America, it's not like that. You don't have to belong to one to be a part of America, Russia, Libya. Well, Libya doesn't really, not a good one anymore. But China, all these things. And when you're talking about things like the Chinese are a race of people. The friars aren't a race. There's no race there. You can't convert to a race. This is the third quote. First two and then this one. "We must not attach ourselves to the place where our political life was once violently interrupted and destroyed. The goal of our present endeavors must be not the Holy Land, but a land of our own. We need nothing but a large piece of land for our poor brothers, a piece of land which shall remain our property, from which no foreign master can expel us." Oh, that's all they want is some land? Oh, whoa. There's plenty of uninhabited land out there. Why don't we give them that? No. They want the land where somebody else already lives. And it's not all they want. They then demand, the United States gives them $3.8 billion a year, which turns into 15 billion shekels around that. When Trump signs the new memorandum of understanding, I think it'll be next year, he's going to guarantee Israel, I'm saying he's going to guarantee them $100 billion over the next 10 years, raising the total up to $10 billion a year, which is, it's a lump sum cash payment, no tracking, no nothing, given to them in the first month of the fiscal year. Nobody else gets that, but they already get a $3.8 billion cash infusion every year just from the United States. Canada gives them $2 billion. Australia gives them $1.2 billion. And I mean, countless other countries give them money. Germany gives them, like, countless other countries give them money. They have 9 to 10 million people there. Between just America, Canada, and Australia, they're at like $6 billion, which flips over into 24 billion shekels every year. Cash money that they get to just disperse amongst the people. That's why they live such great lives. That's why they all live in mansions and drive really nice cars. And I know that sounds crazy, but just go look at the footage from the Iran attack that we've all completely forgotten about. When the Iranian missiles got through the Iron Dome, which doesn't exist. It was nothing but mansions. Huge fucking mansions. This man is a homosexual. It's written on his heart that it's wrong. That's why he's so hostile towards God and spews so much hatred towards him. Yes. Yes, that's what I do. Sweetheart, I'm gay. I'm gay. Yeah, that's why I hate God so much, because I'm gay. I don't hate God, you fucking moron. There is no hating something that doesn't exist. Sorry. But see, because you're too stupid to actually engage in a proper sort of conversation about the actual issues, you got to make up your own little shit. You end up looking even dumber. It's just, it's as obvious as it gets. Like, you would see it in any other case. You would see it. But because it's this, you're like, I don't see nothing. You can't make up you can't present any reasonable arguments whatsoever. So just like a typical Christian, you start fighting dirty and you know, because you're dumb and you're trying to defend your own stupidity. And I get it. You know? Now this person's telling other people to go past me. Don't look at this guy. Typical fucking dumbass pedophile Christian. You know, Christians are stupid. They don't even know their own belief structure. And they just continuously prove it. You know, this guy doesn't hate pedophiles because he would have to hate his own shit. You know, this guy doesn't hate the supremacy and the genocide because he would have to hate his own shit. This is all they have, you guys. Go back and look at every comment that's made. Not a single fucking person has made a reasonable argument. And you'll see that it's like, what a tremendous effort that this group is putting into somebody that's crazy and wrong. Again, being called crazy, as I'm literally reading you the history that we're supposed to know, because I'm crazy. And listen, it'll even address your stupid shit here. Thither, of course, we shall take with us the most sacred possessions which we have, saved from the shipwreck of our former fatherland, the God idea, and the Bible. The God idea and the Bible. It is only these which have made our fatherland a holy land and not Jerusalem or the Jordan. That's weird. Thought Jerusalem was a big deal. If so, all the better. But first of all, we must determine, and at this point, and this is the crucial point, what country is accessible to us, and at the same time, adapted to offer the friars of all lands who must leave their homes and secure and unquestioned refuge capable of being made productive. Do you honestly think any of these idiots know anything about auto-emancipation? No. I don't expect any reasonable arguments. One, because I know, my opposition is a bunch of inbred, dumbass Israelis and friars. But two, how can you argue? What can you argue? You'd be arguing against the history you're supposed to believe. You just don't know it, and that's the issue. And for people wondering, again, who's in the comment section? Team Jorge is the name given to an outfit of Israeli contractors specialized in the use of malign cyber activities, including hacking, sabotage, and bot farm run social media disinformation campaigns to manipulate the outcomes of elections. If they're manipulating elections, then fucking with some dude's feed on YouTube probably isn't difficult. The group was exposed, and remember, this is just one. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of Israeli black ops groups out there. The group was exposed in February of 2023 after an award-winning undercover operation by journalists from Israel and France, although it's actually France, Germany, Indonesia, Israel, Kenya, Spain, Tanzania, and the United States. It's just, you gotta read more. As part of a consortium of investigative journalists, that's the rest of them, by Forbidden Stories, the organization has been active on paper since at least 2015. That's when they can follow the paper trail back to 2015. Just before your buddy Donald Trump lost the election by 2.7 million votes, and then the AIPAC swamp that he said he promised he was going to drain out. Trump loves keeping those promises. I'm going to arrest Hillary Clinton. I'm going to release the footage or the files. I'm going to lower gas and food prices by half. Remember all those promises he made and doesn't fall through him? So Team Jorge can be traced just on paper back to just before that whole thing. When Russia interfered with the election, though they don't provide you any evidence of it, however, no examples, no nothing. Just believe it when they say it was Russia. Even though it can be, Team Jorge happens to go back to that. And boasts of having manipulated 33. I think since Kirk, you guys have started to catch on to the 33 thing. I know a lot of you already knew it, but there's a lot more people that since Kirk have caught on to the 33 thing. "33 presidential elections worldwide," meaning there are many, many other things that they also work on. 33 presidential elections worldwide. These guys have been manipulating social media, secretly manipulating social media behind the scenes in 33 elections, and they're not being investigated by everybody, the ICC, the United States, the FBI. It's so obvious. There's a Wikipedia page about it. Read the articles, it's even worse. Paint an even darker picture. This is just the summary that Israel wants, the Israel approved summary. Everything on Wikipedia is Israel approved. 33 presidential elections worldwide. Don't worry, white guys. Many of them are in Africa, meaning 4 or more were in Africa. And if you read the articles, they detail, the only ones they actually tell you that they did, the only ones they admit to, are the ones they failed on. And it just so happens that they give 3 or 4 examples out of Africa where they failed. So when they say many means 4 or more. Many of them in Africa, it's 4 or more. And in 27 cases with successful results, 27 out of 33 times, this one Israeli Black Ops organization, one of many who use the same software, the same tactics, they're the same thing. Many Israeli Black Ops organizations, 27 out of 33, 82% of the time, this one group tried to manipulate an election, they were successful. Again, where's the investigation? Their activities were revealed following a 2022 sting operation carried out by 3 undercover journalists who posed as prospective clients and filmed their interactions with Tal, T-A-L, Hanan, H-A-N-A-N, the group's leader and former Israeli Special Forces operative, in which he explained the inner workings of the organization. He said they've existed for more than 2 decades, which is why 33 elections and all that. And have been engaged in propaganda and disinformation in more than 30 countries worldwide. More than 30 countries around the world, these guys have admittedly engaged in propaganda and disinformation activities. And it's here on Wikipedia, and there's no investigation. "30 countries. Their services have been available to government intelligence agencies, political campaigns, and private companies that wish to covertly manipulate public opinion." Again, where is the worldwide outrage? Where is the worldwide investigation into this? Gets better. One of the organization's primary tools is a software package called Advanced Impact Media Solutions, or AIMS. What? The software automates centralized control of thousands of fake social media profiles on, name it, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. And if you read the articles, they actually go into more depth, and they say that they can create 30,000 profiles at any given time. 30,000 bots, and they're not even considered bots. The organization that exposed them, all the nerds that are real fucking nerdy and computer savvy, say they've never seen technology like this. It's more like avatars. Calling them bots doesn't do it justice. 30,000 avatar profiles at any given time to either attack or boost someone. So when you get a guy like Ian Carroll, who comes out of nowhere in March of 2023 and immediately has 300,000 following, well, all it takes is 10 groups, 10 Israeli Black Ops groups creating 30,000 bots to go like this guy's shit, follow him. Where did he come from? Find me some history on Ian Carroll. I'd love to see it. Guys like Nick Fuentes. Isn't it amazing how the biggest names in the truther community are Christians? They stop being a truther when it comes to Christianity. Dan Blazarian, Nick Fuentes, everything. There's so much trans and gay phobia and hatred going on right now. And it's crazy too. It's even the craziest part is that they're now there's this new underlying thing that the reason why there's trans and gay is because of the Jews. I'm the one that blames everything on the Jews, right? No. That's fucking stupid, but this is what everybody knows the term controlled opposition, yet nobody ever points to it. And it's never the guy that you like, right? If you're an Alex Jones fan, it's definitely not Alex Jones. He's not the definition of controlled opposition. Look, all these things I'm talking about, the links are in the description. And I've already been live way longer than I wanted to be. So, go check out, go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg-group.com. It's free to download, free to listen to. All we ask is that you share it with someone and share it with someone. When it asks how much you want to pay, click 0. I'd rather, if you paid me $5, I'd rather give you back that $5 and have you share it with someone. So instead of that transaction taking place, just download it for free. All we ask is that you share it with someone. If you feel like donating, it's absolutely greatly appreciated. And there's been several, so we appreciate everyone that has. Go check out the greatest film ever made, which is Hollywoodism. It'll explain it all to you if you let it. And it's not some conspiracy theory movie. They made it. It's a flex. In 97 or 98, they made this movie like, look, we control Hollywood. We always have. Ha ha ha. Go watch. Whatever you do, go read the Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness article that's linked in the description. It's going to be difficult because the page will just keep kicking you off for some reason. Never experienced this with any other page before. Any other article, anything. Yet for some reason, this article consistently kicks you off. So go check that shit out. It's the most important article ever written, and it explains it even more. Like Hollywoodism explains what is going on, how it's happening. The Bottom of Darkness article explains why. Hollywoodism will lay out to you that they control Hollywood, that they've used Hollywood to control the world, that they've used Hollywood to influence perspective, which puts them in control of the world. It's really, really interesting. And then when you realize they're in control of the world, and instead of making it the best place possible, they prefer us to kill each other. They like pedophilia. They like murder and chaos and all that shit. They like starving people. They're horrible, horrible people. And you ask yourself, why? How do little kids spit on women? There's videos of Israeli kids spitting on Christians. Children. It's a whole mob of Israeli little clown, penguins all waddling up and shit. But how can children be so ugly and evil on the inside? Well, when you understand, because of Bottom of Darkness, that those children have been ritualistically sexually assaulted for most of their lives, and been told that they're chosen special, which is why they're being abused. And then when they become adults at 13, that's normal. They're then forced into doing the ritualistic sexual assault to other children, completing this chaotic circle that also creates the psychosis, creates the psychopath that is capable of the bus door opens and you run out and go, so you can run and go claim your Palestinian house as your own. Go look that shit up. Israelis running to claim Palestinian houses. I don't know how my kid made the shit black and white. I'm pissed off. Oh, that's how I did it. Okay. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. I mean, there's always this video. You know, where they're making fun of the Palestinians in their mansions. Isn't that so funny how they do this? Isn't this so funny? Ha ha. Oh, look at that's hilarious. Ha ha ha. Look at, oh, that is so funny. Isn't that funny, you guys? It's just insane. Oh, look. Look, oh, even their children. I wonder why their children are like that. That baby gets beheaded. Look, oh, look. Ha, he has water. Ha. Oh, he has electricity. Ha. Isn't he funny? Aren't they so funny? Ha. Ha, aren't they hilarious? Let's see. God damn it, I can't find that video. There's lots of videos showing this. Palestinian family forced out of home and occupied. Israeli settlers seize Palestinian family home. Why Palestinians in East Jerusalem are losing their homes. Israeli settlers continue storming Palestinians. Armed Jewish settlers take over Palestinian homes. Palestinian residents of West Bank Village say it's over and over again. But I was looking for a specific video. I just can't find it. But a bus pulls up, and as soon as the bus door opens, they go running out to to claim their house, to claim which Palestinian house will be theirs. It's just horrendous. They're insane. And you have to ask yourself, why do the Ian Carrolls of the world get to say these same kinds of things much more softly and much more focused on Zionist? It's the Zionist. So why is he allowed to do it? Why is he allowed to grow exponentially? Because my feed used to, when I was allowed to get 7, 8, 10, 15, 20, 30,000 views on my feeds, well, yeah, my shit was growing pretty quickly. But it started to slow down, and then the day after Charlie, the day Charlie got shot, was the last day I was allowed to really, there've been like 3 times since then where I've gotten over 1,000. Most of the time it's less than 200-300. It just happened. It just one day it just happened. Who has controlled opposition? Which one? Charlie, how the Charlie Kirk narrative has been hijacked is just insane to me. This guy was a piece of shit. There's a reason why no one liked him before he got shot. Because he was a piece of shit. He said horrible things about gays and women and black people and, people of color in general. He was a horrible person. There are a couple of videos where Charlie's asking questions about Israel. It's framed in a certain way to make it look like he was questioning Israel. Like especially the Ben Shapiro one, where he says, but Ben, I thought you guys controlled the media and blah, blah. He's saying that in jest. But you can find way more videos of him talking shit about Palestinians. Those videos, for some reason, aren't making the rounds as much. All the videos where he said horrible things, those videos seem to be being suppressed somehow. And yet at the same time, the shooting videos are not only there, but they're being scrutinized like nothing I've ever seen before, like a 9/11 kind of thing. For some reason, all these same people that are allowed to have these huge feeds and then make Charlie Kirk videos that get hundreds of thousands, millions of views, for some strange reason, they all kind of say the same shit. None of them actually say, none of them actually like go into the Israel part. They might a little bit, but nobody points out the obvious that Israel created Charlie Kirk. Look at Robert Kennedy, who wrote the book on pokes, but no. Oh yeah. So this is kind of a long story, but so everybody knows the movie Vaxxed, right? And so I watched the first, and back when the first Vaxxed came out, I was still allowed to be pretty popular. My shit was sort of working out okay. Everything crashed in 2020 when I said I'm no longer going to be focused on things like Vax, and I'm going to focus on the Jews and stopping pedophilia. My feed took an immediate turn. But back when the Vax came out, I was friends with someone called Nikki Matner. Nikki Matner was out of Australia. Nikki Matner, when we first hooked up, the reason why I even chased after her was because everything she would post would get like 10,000 likes and, a few thousand shares and 50,000 comment, everything. It could just be something stupid and it would get this huge reaction. So I, being the go-getter that I am, I wrote our song Vaxxed based on the movie, because the movie had just come out, and I included Nikki Matner in it because I thought if I could include this girl, I can appeal to her vanity and she'll share my shit. She's more likely to share the shit if it mentions her. Everybody's like that, right? Everybody's vanity can be played. And so I wrote the song, and then I reached out to her, and she liked it. And as soon as her and I hooked up, her feed took this incredibly noticeable nosedive. Suddenly, this broad that's getting 10,000 fucking likes per post is reduced to a few thousand. And it seems like the more of my shit she does post, the more her numbers fall. And it's noticeable. But she did a good solid, shared it and whatnot. So then when Vaxxed, she happened to know, it was just on my fucking tip of my tongue. I was just going to say his name. What the fuck is his name? Brian Burrows, that's his name, Brian Burrows. She knew Brian Burrows, who was the main guy behind Vaxxed. And so she sent him my song. he was like, hey, I really like it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, really appreciate it.
Go upstairs for a minute.
What?
Go upstairs for a minute.
He said he liked the song, and we talked, you know, there was a back and forth between, and I was like, you know, if you guys ever decide to do a second one, maybe we could get a song on the soundtrack. He was like, I'll do you one better. When we do the second one, you guys can do the entire soundtrack. And I was like, bet, that would be amazing. And so, you know, I'd periodically reach out to him, and he'd always be like, yeah, nothing new yet, or whatever. And then after about 3 months, you know, it just was what it was. I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't quite following it. But I did, thanks. So I said, so one day, Vax 2 just appears. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, what the hell?
Want me to see if Justine wants to take me?
No, we'll go. That's fine. So I reached out and I'm like, dude, what's going on? He's like, yeah, man, sorry. Things came together real fast. If you notice, we didn't actually use any songs. We just had like background music the whole time. And so he gave me the free passes to see the movie, like free links or whatever, told me to share it with people. And so I watched it, and he's right. They didn't use any real songs in that one. And I was like, well, is there any way we can use the footage? We can use some of the footage from your movie in a music video? And he was like, I'll do you one better. How about I make the music video for you? You just provide the song. And I was like, you know, bet, you're great. Oh, fuck yeah, I think. Like, I was so grateful. You know, I'm totally the B-side in this one. So anything he does is spectacular. So I wrote Vaxxed. So I wrote Vaxxed, which is this one.
Regularly scheduled programming for this here public service announcement brought to you by your friends at the Bilderberg Group and our friend Nikki. You better watch Vaxxed before you get you or your children vaxxed.
Charlie Kirk was a college dropout who was connected to Freemasonry and grifted to the white nationalist base. He was his donor list reads like a bar mitzvah registration. The Jews created him to execute him. The Israelis created him to you know, they built him up to knock him down, which they knew what they were doing. They weren't going to take out one of their own. It's been a long time since there was a public assassination. So they knew, you know, you knew one was coming. I called it. I told you guys a few weeks beforehand, something big is happening. Somebody's going to get shot. Something big is coming up. I called it. But so I wrote Vaxxed. This is Vaxxed. Then I wrote Vaxxed Part 2, Part 1, and Vaxxed Part 2, Part 2. And I said, look, hey, we wrote 2 songs. How about you pick one, you know, that you like? If you want to do both, you can do both. But if you just pick one of the 2 and we'll do the other one, and then we'll release them both at the same time. And he was like, cool, I'll do Part 1, or I don't remember which one he talked about. But he was like, okay, I'll make the video and I'll get back with you. And then over the next year plus, every week or so, every couple weeks, I'd reach out, hey man, what's going on? You know, he'd be like, oh man, sorry, it's been just really busy, but next week I'm gonna do it for sure. I promise you, blah, blah, blah. This was bullshit. We're talking about putting together a music video. This takes an hour at most. Especially for somebody at his skill level, right? So over a year passes. This we sent them the songs in January. And by December of that year, I'm going, hey man, I'm still trying to be like nice because again, I'm the B minus side of this. I'm nothing in this equation. And I'm just like, dude, what's going? He's like, yeah, I'm really, really sorry. It's been crazy hectic. I know this is shitty of me. Here's $150. Go buy your kids something nice for Christmas from me. I promise I'm going to get this done within the next couple weeks. I promise. And by January, I just fed up. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and release the second one, part two. And, we'll see what happens, we'll see, whatever. Well, part two talks about, it hints at the idea that, Bobby Kennedy, Robert Kennedy Jr., is a Kennedy. Why anybody would fall for a Kennedy is beyond me. Yes, he's saying some of the right things, no doubt. Look what he says about Israel, on the other hand. And that's pretty disgusting. But he's clearly bought and paid for. He's a fucking Kennedy. Why is everybody falling for this? And by like February, I started actually telling the story. I had kept the whole thing quiet. I was good for over a year. Keeping quiet, just talking about something big I had coming up. If we would have released those songs when they first came out, we'd have been looked at as prophets. Because those songs predicted COVID. I saw it coming. I saw the whole thing coming. Oh, look, the admitted pedophile's here. Cody Cohen. Cohen, Cohen. He doesn't use his real name because for some strange reason, everybody hates them so much. It has nothing to do with who they are and how they treat people. They're just hated. Interesting, huh? But he never ends up doing the video. And I never end up talking to him again, actually. And it was definitely a weird situation. But like I say, I sure wish we'd have been able to drop those songs in January when they were, well, December when they were written, but January when they were first put out. And I think one of them was written closer to like October. Nobody gives a fuck about what your middle name is. You're a piece of shit friar. Notice how he corrected me on the name thing, but didn't correct me about him being an admitted pedo. You guys notice that? He wasn't like, hey, fuck you. I'm no pedo. And Alan's my middle name. He was just like, hey, you got my name wrong. Clearly, they can point out when I get things wrong. You see what I'm saying? If you just leave them here, they out themselves. But I was saying it, like in the song, I'm saying like I have a hard time trusting somebody who is a Kennedy. Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, everyone who shared their story. You are the heroes in all of this. So, I don't call it autism. I say it's something else.
That was the other part I think made them mad. Is I don't go with the autism bullshit. Vaccines do not cause autism. Never admitted. No, you did. You did. You absolutely admitted it. You're what you presented admitted it. Just like that dumbass Joey, whatever his name was. Ooh.
My problem is my metaphors. I'm not direct enough. I need to use a better sword when cutting through the tough stakes that have us stuck in perpetual submission. Their fake news is the bluff, nagging at your intuition. Since again, it's not autism. It's something different altogether. And our blinding lack of vision means it's something that we'll never see as more a clever use of misdirection. Since no one's getting better, we don't see it as infection or a biological weapon targeting our best, destroying comprehension, yet leaving all the rest to grow into a mess, a burden on the parent. If you're stuck with the effects, it affects all of your merits. Everything you've cherished and all you've taken for granted rapidly starts to perish, yet it's not called underhanded. We're told we're on a planet, yet we're never pushed to ask why the moon we're told we landed on so comically in our past. It's not your fault you've been assaulted. You were taught to be this way. In this cosmos are exalted, starring in this faulty play. But if they're caught and we're appalled with how we're bought and sold each day, we'll break the vault that hides the culprits, altering our DNA.
Woo.
Remember the 1976 swine flu epidemic? Yeah, neither do I. But this thing called Google's been invented, so you might want to give it a try and see if this crazy guy is lying even slightly. When I say we tried to die because they told us that we might be dying of a slightly proven inconvenience. Their lips are sealed so tightly they're breathing through their penis. Okay, genius. That last line I made up. But at this point, if you're not squeamish, your lack of empathy sucks. They praise the almighty buck, but what Goy hold most dear is to eat the corn we shuck without the constant seed of fear. Alive between our ears, popping every bubble, rows and rows of peers, trying not to get in trouble. Yet as more money goes to Hubble and distractions like Epstein, the vaccine injured always doubles.
Distractions like Epstein.
And we're not on their team, we're cattle, nothing more. So when you wake up from your chosen dream, it's time to Goy settle the score. It's not your fault you've been assaulted. You were taught to be this way. In this cosmos are exalted, starring in this faulty play. But if they're caught and we're appalled with how we're bought and sold each day, we'll break the vault that hides the culprits, altering our DNA.
Jesus Christ. That boy is bad.
TBG proposes we no longer call it autism. We propose we call it symptoms of a biological attack, or SOBA. People are born autistic. This is obviously something else, and as long as they have us battling over semantics, we're losing the war for our children.
Woo.
You don't want 10% of God's help, do you? You want 100%.
Anyway, you have yourself a fantastic day. Like I said before, check out all the receipts in the description. Lots of links to the music, links to the greatest film ever made, Hollywoodism, the most important article ever written, Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness, the Havara Agreement, which is the agreement between the Nazis and the Zionist federations in 1933 to start colonizing Palestine by sending 60,000 German friars over to Palestine. You never heard about that part, did you? In your World War II Holocaust narrative, you never heard about how the Zionists signed a deal with Hitler, now did you? But what do I know? I'm just crazy. Anyway, have yourself a great day. And you pedophiles, you know what to do. Kill yourself.